Manong George here, and welcome to the channel. And for today's episode, we shall talk about how nurses can earn more here in the UK.
Sometimes nurses attend our London courses from as far away as Glasgow, Cardiff and Portsmouth. Thank you. Sometimes nurses would like to attend our outstanding OSCE courses, but for various reasons can't make it here. It's okay, we hear you. Here at IELTS Medical, we're currently working on reaching every nurse wherever you are in the world. In the meantime though, we've got our video course and textbook package called The Ultimate Guide to the NMC OSCE. Your guide includes the theory for the exam, as well as vouchers for 1 or 2 6-hour sessions with our OSCE educators. Grab your ultimate guide at oscenurses.com today.
When you arrive here in the UK, the starting salary, most likely if you're with the NHS, is around £27,000. But it shouldn't end there. There are many ways that you can do to top up what your basic salary is. So when you arrive here in the UK as a nurse, and when you qualified as a UKRN, registered now with the NMC, normally your salary would start around $27,000 if you are in the NHS, and it could be a slightly higher more if you're with the care home sector. Possible plus minus, you know. But it doesn't have to end just on your basic salary. There are many ways you could do to help you earn more on top of your basic salary. First, let's talk about enhancements. Most commonly, if you work unsocial hours, you will get paid extra. So let's talk about that. So maybe if you're working at nights, you have an extra third of your salary, I believe. If you're up until Saturday, the whole day, it's a third that you add to your salary. And going towards Sundays and bank holidays, this is where you get. So these are the most basic ways you could do to start with to enhance your salary. That's why sometimes you might find some nurses would request that they become more permanent nights because they feel they could earn more if they're always doing enhanced rates. Now let's talk about bank shifts. So if you're a Filipino nurse, the term bank might be something very new for you. So here in the UK, bank shifts are shifts that are within your employer or trust or hospital or care home, wherein they allow their own employees to work these extra shifts. These extra shifts may be caused by understaffing, sickness, etc. But they call this bank shifts. Because I worked for the NHS previously, what they do for you to be able to do bank shifts is you get signed off for maybe your skills, that they're happy that you can work not only within your unit but maybe within the whole trust itself. Some trusts as well, with regards to bank shifts, it can be enhanced rates. Maybe their day shifts are already equal to night shifts, and so a lot of people, a lot of nurses actually look into doing extra shifts, especially if they do 3 days, 4 days only in a week. They feel that they could work extra shifts within a week, like a day or two, or even another half day to top up their own basic salary. Mind you, this is why Filipino nurses love doing extra shifts, because they get a lot more when doing bank shifts. Just a little reminder for bank shifts though. Bank shifts is considered a second job, so you get a second pay slip for it, okay? And so it can have taxation implications, but at the end of the day, if you work more here in the UK, you are actually taxed more. All right, and remember, this is where one of the most accessible things that you can do as a nurse to earn more. That's why they say bank is life. Now let's talk about agency nursing. So you are working as a nurse outside your current employer. So if you're on a bank shift, you're working still within your current employer, but it might be an extra shift outside your own unit or ward or theaters, or maybe it's still within your own unit, ward, or theaters. But for agency, you're definitely going out of your employer's zone. Basically, say you work in London, maybe you'll go and work in the countryside, and vice versa if you're from the countryside. Now, with agency nursing, because you are working outside your own employer, normally the rates are a lot better. Depending on your specialty, depending on the demand, depending on the need of the hospital or facility or care home that requires your service, your rates can be better enhanced. And so if you're asking me how much is the salary for nurses doing agency shifts, normally on an hourly basis, it can start from around the region of £25 towards around the region of £60 per hour. Just a fair warning, if you're doing agency shifts, obviously with agency shifts, you are expected to be a very competent nurse. So if you're quite new, my suggestion is don't go into agency nursing until you're very confident on what you're doing, because certain areas, certain places may not be as receptive when they receive an agency nurse. Maybe the mindset is that you get paid better than the regular staff, so they might not be as helpful. So again, if you're an agency staff, you're expected to be sort of a very, very competent nurse, or even somebody who is well experienced. So something to bear in mind when you're working as an agency staff. And so for those nurses who are still on a Tier 2 visa, just remember, on a weekly basis, you have a limit on how much extra work you can take on. So if you're doing extra shifts in bank and agency, the total number that you can do max per week is just within 20 hours. And that is per the UK government's website. So remember that your basic salary doesn't have to end there. There are many ways that you can do to enhance your salary and earn more here in the UK. And if you have other tips, tricks, suggestions, or if you want to ask us or maybe even engage in dialogue with us, or if we've missed something, then why not reach us on Facebook? I am Manong George, and why not join our Facebook community, the Filipino UK Nurses community, where we have more than 25,000 members now. And with that, always remember, Manong knows.